You're watching the Randy and Krista Show. I'm Krista Urecchio.
I'm Randy Alvarez, and today's topic, we're interviewing Dr. Jennifer Neff. She is a medical doctor. She's using acupuncture in her practice, and Krista's about to interview her. So, Krista, you spoke to her on the phone, I guess, last night or a couple days ago.
We spoke on the phone, and I didn't know that this is a new emerging field called physician acupuncture, where it's specific for trained medical doctors, where they learn to manage the inflammation process through using acupuncture, and apparently it's cutting down on a lot of prescriptions that can be addictive. And so I'm all for that and looking forward to hearing Dr. Neff's integrative approach.
So you used acupuncture, I guess, or on a dog, or you personally?
Yeah, everything. So yes, I have had acupuncture before, and it works great to shift you into your rest and relax nervous system, so into your parasympathetic nervous system. I don't do it regularly, but years ago, my parents had a dachshund, you know, the little hot dog dogs, and it had a slip disc in its back, and they said you should either put it down or it's going to need wheels. And my mom took the dog to acupuncture, and it healed its back. The disc slipped back into place, and he was like a puppy again. So it's pretty amazing, you know. That is a pretty amazing success story right there.
You know, acupuncture has become so mainstream, you know, now with medical doctors like Dr. Neff using it, but it's an invisible system, this meridian system, this chi. And I talked to her a little bit about it. She's tried to explain it to me. I'm doing the best at understanding it, but when you free up that chi, or that energy, since your body's energy, when you free it up, it allows the body to heal itself.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, you're kind of, you know, smiling as you say this.
Yeah.
Like, you may believe it or you may not, but this is nothing new. This is 5,000 years old. And so we know that this works, this traditional Chinese medical model of just creating balance with the body and having enough reverence for the body that if given what it needs, it will heal itself. More than thinking we know better and we have to force it into doing what we want it to do by giving it a pill. So, so I'm a believer. I'm all about the chi. Let's see what Dr. Neff has to say about it.
All right, we're going to go to that interview right now.
You're watching the Randy and Krista Show. I'm Krista Urecchio, and this is news that makes you healthier. We are combining the medical world with Eastern practices today with physician acupuncturist Jennifer Neff.
Hi, Krista. How are you?
Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the program.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too, because I love talking about how do we blend these types of Eastern work that are highly effective with the traditional medical model. So, what is physician acupuncture?
Physician acupuncturist is a physician who's been trained in acupuncture, and it was a specific class that I took through UCLA in 2003. The physician acupuncture course was kind of an amalgam of different types of acupuncture from all around the world, and specifically for physicians to learn for pain control, but also for general wellness. And it was a one-year course, or about 10 months year. 10 months course, and we all went through it together. There was time that we spent at the beginning and the end doing actual acupuncture, and then months and months of study. And I did that during the time that I was practicing, but cut back a little so that I could learn it really well.
So what drove you to it? Did you get tired of prescribing? Did you think, hey, there has to be another way? Or why did you choose to add acupuncture to your medical practice?
I'm going to go back to my medical school because I learned that there was another way right in medical school. I had the opportunity to work with a couple of docs who were in southwestern Wisconsin because there was a Waldorf school there for their kids. They were living off the grid with solar houses, and they were doing home births, and they were doing herbal medicine. They were doing some acupuncture, and they were really integrating. They integrated. That's what they did, and I thought, awesome, this is great. We can do this.
Yeah.
And so I went back to work with them in residency, and although my training was very Western medicine based, it was always an interest of mine. So I just went back to look. The acupuncture came in because I have a family member who's actually a pretty prominent acupuncture and Oriental medicine doctor in Michigan, and she inspired me. She said, "I want you to come and watch what I do," and so I did. And I stayed in her home, and she did a whole bunch of acupuncture on me, and I was sold. It was great. It's become a passion of mine.
What's the primary benefit of acupuncture?
Acupuncture brings the organism, the person back into balance with itself. You can do acupuncture on horses and dogs and people, and I do people acupuncture, but what it does is it brings the body into balance with itself. Now there's a lot of stress in our lives nowadays. And so we're really working at a sympathetic nervous system level, meaning, fight or flight and stress. And I can be very simple by saying that it brings in the parasympathetic nervous system so that you have that calm, that rest and digest, and not just all of the go, 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 go. And when you're in a rest and digest phase, more of the time, then you're able to heal and you're able to think and you're able to reflect, you're able to be emotionally more even and not so reactive. And those things are very big determinants of health and how you can feel healthy, because when you're going at a high level all the time, then things kind of burn out. But when you're able to calm down and kind of power down a little bit, then things work better.
And replenish. And has it changed the number of prescriptions that you write?
Oh, yeah. I've been doing integrative medicine and medical acupuncture for about 15 years, and I've been in practice for family practice for about 20 years. So I feel like I have a lot more options, and my patients will say, thank you. Thank you for not giving me a drug for this. What
do traditional medical doctors think of this? It's an emerging field, right? And it's could be maybe considered esoteric to them, or no?
Well, esoteric is another thing. The acupuncture is much more accepted nowadays, and the acupuncture is also something that it's even difficult for me to really explain it. It takes training and a lot of understanding, and so the medical doctors basically, although they believe in it, some of them will say, I don't have the time to really learn about that. I have to trust that somebody else knows about it. So it was my intent at the beginning of learning medicine in my first 5 years of practice that I wanted to learn the Western medicine really well, so that when I came in with the integrative medicine and the acupuncture, I figured they would come in at some point in time that people would say, well, we know Jen's a good doc. And so I trust that this is something that's valid. And that's kind of how I proceeded.
Okay, so Jennifer, what types of illnesses can you use medical acupuncture for? You mentioned pain management, but what else? Why would you use that with a patient versus something else?
It's great for stress relief. Yeah, great for stress relief. It's great for hormone balance, although that may sound a little strange. I can elaborate on that if you want to. It's great for stomach trouble, digestive trouble, irritable bowel, autoimmune things. Because it's bringing your body back into balance. When things are out of balance, then it's very useful. And I see a lot of my doctor friends and I joke about, I feel like crap, but my labs are normal. So when you're just not feeling well, when something is wrong, and the patients will express that, they'll say something is wrong. But my doctor says everything is okay.
Well, we hear that all the time, which is why we even started this show, right? Is to create that bridge between the traditional medical model and functional medicine of really how do you end up feeling your best, just not avoiding disease. It's about really feeling your best. So what I'm hearing is stress is connected to 99% of issues and illnesses. And so that if you can come in to get acupuncture and you are in your sympathetic nervous system and you can get an acupuncture treatment, it can then shut off the sympathetic nervous system, move you into parasympathetic, and allow the body to do its own healing process.
Right, like dial it down. You don't ever want your sympathetic nervous system to be shut off, because then you can't respond. So it's kind of it's a flow. It's a flow between the two of them. It's a balance, and yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay. Something that I'm really interested in is the opioid crisis in the U.S. And I'm not sure if it's in other countries, but you hear that is the #1 addiction because we were talking about, off camera. Well, you have maybe 20 minutes with a patient and, hey, you're in pain. You write them a script. That script went beyond 4 to 7 days. And now an addiction has started, and this is happening by the, hundreds of thousands in the U.S.?
It's a big, big issue. It's a big problem. The brain has opioid receptors, and so there's substances that the body produces naturally that kind of trigger those opioid receptors to make you feel good and make you feel like, But sometimes you have a pill that does that too, and I've had many, many years in family medicine, and my patients will be refilling their opioid prescriptions, and I'll say to them, are you taking it because of pain, or are you taking it because you don't feel good? and there's a big, that's my big breakdown. If you're taking it because you don't feel good, then we need to deal with some other things. And so what I like about the acupuncture is that it can activate some of those neurotransmitters so that you're feeling more at ease, so that the opioid pill is not what you're always thinking about. Because
so you use it to help people detox off of
opioids. There's addiction protocols. There's very well-known addiction protocols that are used in as a physician acupuncturist. Also, traditional acupuncturists have used them for years. Yeah.
Okay, and what is it? Do you know the mechanism of action with acupuncture that actually helps reduce the pain and helps reduce the addiction to opioids and allow your own?
Okay. Endorphins, heard of them? Endorphins are substances that make you feel really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have an acupuncture treatment and you're more in your parasympathetic nervous system, then the endorphins can be made. Sometimes the endorphins are made when you're in your sympathetic system, but that's kind of more like a woo, let's get this done, or you know. So in the positive way, the endorphins are there. You're feeling good. The body has a chance to kind of be less urgent in its needs for relief, and you have
a beautiful way to say
a chance to be a little bit more responsive rather than reactive. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good work. And then to that end, that kind of dovetails nicely with a crisis of mental health and anxiety and depression. And when you sent me some questions, you were saying, this is a wonderful solution for the chronic mental health problems. So expand on that.
Well, in my field, in the field of medicine, we talk about emotional overlay, which means it's more of a Buddhist concept, although I don't think that my colleagues appreciate that. There's the thing that's happening to you, and then there's how you think and feel about it.
Right.
And so for one person, this thing that's happening to them can be catastrophic. And so they're layering the catastrophic emotions, it's the worst thing ever. And for somebody else, they'll go, yeah, it's a little stressful, but I can handle it. And so acupuncture, because there's specific acupuncture points for feeling depressed, for feeling anxious, for calming you down, for different types of responses. There's acupuncture points to decrease anger, frustration, and resentment. And so I love that part of it, because you say, I want to push that button because I want this person to feel less intense about this. I want them to pull back those negative emotions so that they can start healing, start being creative. Because when you're in a fear place, healing is not happening very well. You bring yourself into a little bit more of an understanding, or like a self-love place, that's when all the good stuff happens.
Yeah, it gives you almost a bird's eye perspective on the issues that are going on, and it gives you that space to respond versus react.
Yeah.
Do you find in traditional Chinese medicine the organs correlate to different emotions, right? So the kidneys correlate to fear, and the liver to anger, and I think the pancreas to irritability.
Well, that's the part that I love the best, because it's this beautiful medical fairy tale. Not meaning fairy tale like it's not true, but fairy tale like it tells the story of the liver and how it's essential for the digestion of things, and when it gets angry, then things get hot and red and fiery, and so it talks about fire and water, and it talks about emotions, and it talks about colors associated with those organ systems and the meridians, and that's why it's a little bit difficult to just learn quick. It's a learn slow kind of thing, but when I got into the stuff of that, then it was really easy to become passionate about it.
It's like a symphony, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
So many layers to it. So what types of patients or clients are coming to you now?
I'm getting referrals from my Western colleagues, which is great, because let me give you an example. Like I will have like a cardiologist who I've referred to as a Western doctor will send me someone maybe with pericardial inflammation, which causes pain in the chest, and it's very upsetting. And there's actually a meridian for pericardium in acupuncture, and it has to do with holding emotions. And the pericardium is the guardian of the heart, and when it's inflamed or angry, then you get chest pain. And so the cardiologist has already determined that there is no heart attack or no arrhythmia or a rhythm problem with the heart, and then I have the ability to talk with the client or the patient and say, okay, so what was going on when all this started? So what may have predisposed you towards like anger or fear or what emotion is happening with you. You know, what was it? Was it something in your job? Was it something in your relationship? And then you start threading through that, even getting people to talk about it, then work magic with the needles, and then people just start smoothing out. And it's not a instant messaging thing. It's a process. It's a process. People have to buy into the process. Although you can do acupuncture on horses and dogs and they get immediately better, we're very complicated.
They don't have all the mind stuff.
You know, they don't have that emotional overlay. So it's what we think about it, what we feel about it, and then what is. And so it's a process. The patients that or the clients I like to take care of are really interested in getting to the root of the issue and working on it. They want to participate in their care. They're not just kind of, doc, fix me, doc, fix me.
Yeah, it's an archaic, outdated, antiquated way to approach our healing. We have to be partners with whatever practitioner or doctor we're working with.
Well, when you think about it, you're an expert on you. I can't say I'm an expert on you, but you can tell me about you, and then we can work together, and beautiful things happen. Yeah.
Final question. Where is the future of integrative medicine headed?
Oh, wow, that's a big one. I found in my last 5 years as a full-time family medicine doctor working for a corporation and doing integrative medicine and offering acupuncture, patients want a mix. Patients want a mix of different healing paradigms. Patients want to be able to participate. And sometimes that's threatening for my Western colleagues because they don't know the same things that the patients are coming in and trying to talk about, and sometimes they don't know as much about the other options, but I would love to be part of that conversation with my colleagues. I'd love to start educating them, and medical students. I did that for a while too.
That's great.
So the future of medicine and integrative medicine lies in what are you teaching the new doctors, and what are the established doctors willing to learn. So I think there's a really bright future.
I agree.
I do.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I think we should all work together, and people are going to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
You're
You have a
welcome.
local practice here in North County, San Diego.
I do.
Correct.
I do.
And you're still taking patients?
I am. I've got a little boutique practice in Encinitas, and I spend 45 to 60 minutes with my follow-up patients, which is, it's just an embarrassment of riches and time. Yeah,
Especially
it's really
going
nice.
from 10, 15, 20 minutes.
I
right?
like to spend time getting to know people, and that's how I don't know, that's how the magic starts. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're
been
very
lovely.
welcome. It's been lovely. Yeah.
You're watching the Randy and Krista Show, and we'll be right back.
You're watching the Randy and Krista Show. I'm Randy Alvarez, Krista Recchio. Great interview. Interesting. Very interesting.
It really is. My favorite part of the interview was really talking about the opioid crisis. And now we know, especially with these celebrity suicides, we've got mental health issues have now moved into the mainstream, and how Dr. Neff really talked about the integrative approach is kind of the only approach, and really working with that emotional overlay to remove it. A lot of times that can be the root cause of the issue.
So as a clinical nutritionist, it's not just the food. They also have to deal with their emotions.
Yeah, as
And
a
they have to
human
detox. I mean,
being,
there's so
we
much
have to
to it.
deal with our emotions. Yeah, but in private practice and in all my work online, even though my programs are highly clinical, we're talking about primary food, which we define as the things that feed you other than food, that feed you in a way that food never can. The quality of your key relationships, your sense of spiritual connectedness, the way that you exercise, the way that you sleep, the balance that you have in your life. And we all are living life. We all have experiences and traumas or upsets, and you can collect emotional sludge just the way that your body or your liver can get clogged, or the kidneys from actual physical sludge. And so I think it's so important to address the entire organism, mind, body, spirit. And this is what Dr. Neff's doing, and it's refreshing.
Now, in your own clinical practice, did you send people out for acupuncture here and there over the years?
Oh, anything from acupuncture to cranial sacral to chiropractic care, whatever seemed to be what would work for them at the moment.
Now, when you get acupuncture yourself, do you feel like clearer? Do you feel better?
I feel clearer,
Do you
I
feel
feel
it?
calmer. I haven't done a ton of acupuncture, but I did I was 2 weeks late delivering Austin, my son, and so I went to acupuncture to induce labor. And so that
Really?
helped so that I didn't have to get induced with the drugs. So there's my success story.
So people come to you, you know, especially doing acupuncture. Certain people are very sick, and then certain people are they're healthy, and they just want that competitive. You know, they want to take it to the next level.
Right.
So it's good for that, like a reset, right, to kind of free up your energy. And then, of course, the sick people, acupuncture is good, but you have to combine it with, like, you can't throw acupuncture at a poor diet. Probably.
Of course.
I don't know. I'd have to ask Dr.
Yeah,
Neff
I mean,
about that.
sure, it's better than nothing, better than poor diet and nothing adding acupuncture, right?
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, there's so many factors to being a healthy
And
person.
it's nice to meet, you know, a mainstream, or used to be a mainstream medical doctor that now sees the benefit in her patients with acupuncture and realizes you can't just spend 5 minutes with a patient and get them better.
Yeah.
And now, like she said, she's spending an hour with patients. You don't see that with traditional
You don't,
doctors.
but you know, I asked her where's the future of medicine headed, and maybe we're heading in that direction as an integrative approach, because we need more than the 5 to 15 minute
Letting the
appointments.
food be their medicine.
Their food be their medicine, and just being open to all kinds of modalities and customizing all of these different modalities, whether they be Eastern or Western, holistic, natural, to that particular person, rather than trying to fit the person into an existing model.
Okay, good. Now, I want to ask you the final message about acupuncture. Like, because you've known about it for 20 plus years, but what understanding have you come, or what have you come to understand about acupuncture as part of a wellness program?
Well, I believe in the idea of chi, or energy, and when there's a blockage somewhere in any organ, it creates disparity throughout the other organs. And so using acupuncture as a way to maintain harmony within the body, I think is, for me, first and foremost, is a prevention. Or knowing you have stressful times coming up, or you've been living in your stressed nervous system, living in your sympathetic nervous system, it's nice to use that as prevention. You know, you could have a couple of drinks, or you could go get acupuncture, and acupuncture might be the healthier choice.
Okay, good. Well, another good interview. I want to thank you again for coming to the studio here and doing some interviews.
It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Good. You've been watching the Randy and Krista Show. I'm Randy Alvarez, Krista Recchio. We'll see you next time. It's news that makes you healthier. We'll see you next time.